3, 2, 1, go. Welcome to Grounds After Rounds.
4, 3. Don't say 2. Oh.
Hi, folks.
1. We are here. I wore this specifically today because it's 4th of July is this weekend.
Oh, is
for
it
the
all?
video purpose?
Oh, because it'll come out on Friday.
Yeah.
That's a good call.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
This is
cool.
intentional.
Well
also,
done.
it's amazing.
It is an amazing shirt. He is such a character.
He really is.
How's he doing? Didn't he win something in court for defamation?
Yeah,
Wasn't there,
he's had a few things against him, but he's doing fine.
But it was like somebody on like a TMZ type on some social media platform that doesn't really exist anymore, like a Reddit type of.
Yeah.
You remember? And it was in Florida.
Yeah,
like somebody basically said like he sleeps with animals, like he was like having sex with goats or something.
Yeah,
it was something
it was something really outlandish.
Yeah, or like it might even have been racial.
There was a racial thing a while back,
and none of it was true. And Hulk Hogan, or whatever his real name is, right?
Terry Bollea.
Right? He went to court with them as Terry.
As Terry Bollea.
To say like this is either he got authorization or copyright credit to use the Hulk Hogan, like it is now his.
Yeah, Hulk Hogan is his.
And so like
he has his own like beachfront store down in I think is he in Florida?
But he won because he showed how none of this was true, and it was actually really damaging to him, and like I think brought to bear like all the things he does in the communities and I feel like I'm remembering this correctly.
Yeah,
I might be remembering it wrong, but like it was made out to be that he was dirty person. Like he was not a good person.
Yeah.
And that was what he was going to court for, is to be like,
yeah,
I'm a good person.
You need to be careful.
Yeah, like this is ridiculous. The Hulk character going like bad and good and bad and good is not this guy Terry.
Right.
And that was what it was like a TMZ type of person.
Yeah, I forget what you're right. I can't remember what it was, but otherwise like. Since that, because that was a while ago.
Yeah,
he's doing fine now. He's got his beachfront store going. He still does. I mean, Hulk Hogan can walk into a room and
I just think of him as Thunder Lips from Rocky 3, right? And he's just like a complete psycho in the ring.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, he's like, "Come on, take a picture for the kids."
Yeah.
And he's Hollywood baby or something. What he says to Sylvester, what he says to Rocky about it, and he's just like, man, that guy's messed up.
Oh, God. But it's so good. But like that's pro wrestling. That's,
turn it on.
Like you gotta turn it on, turn it off. Like some of the it's so funny. There's this current character in WWE, and he's Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, and he's just this really like dark like. He wears this mask. It's just these giant like it looks like a psycho clown almost. Mm-hmm. It's insane. And this whole thing that he's like playing these mind games with people, and he's like just really like I can't think of the best way, but it's kind of dark, but not gruesome, just like really creepy, right? And he's so good at it. Like people, it's like it's not real. It's very Undertaker-esque actually. Like very Undertaker, like maybe even a little bit like creepier than Undertaker. But it's like now like this is just this character play, but people are so bought in.
Yeah.
But you see him this, and then he also like on Instagram recently posted birth of his second child, and like he's standing on the beach with his kid, and it's like and his other kids and his wife, and it's
how much so this is not a wrestling podcast, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm intrigued. How much is it the actor or the performer? What would you call him? Actor, performer, wrestler, entertainer.
You call him an entertainer, I guess is it's sports entertainment. If
so the talent. How much is it the talent's engagement with the narrative, and it's WWE's writing and staff that they see like, okay, we need a whatever. And because I watched the Fighting with My Family, right? That good movie, by the way, really fun, enjoyable, and it was based on the true story of that.
Paige,
she was. Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah,
that was well done.
Yeah.
Plus, Circe is the mom.
Yeah, they're so good. The parents were so good.
That's not her. I forget the actress's real name.
Lena Headey.
Lena, yeah. But so What is that relationship?
So it varies because it's like someone like a John Cena
yeah
has a lot more creative control than say someone who has been in the business for 6 months. And so I think you have to develop this. So this person over here that's been doing for 6 months, a lot of what they're doing is they're being told like, this is what you're going to do.
Okay.
Whereas like someone like John Cena has the like, here's the pitch, but he can like, let me take this. What if we do it this way? And so,
have you ever gone back and looked at his early, right? Did he earn? You know what I mean? Did he come in filling a character role, and as it was determined, like, wow, you've got some good. He put his time in, earned the right to kind of go off script a little bit.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, the most successful ones are the ones that almost kind of their character is just an extension of themselves. And so, whereas like, yeah, and so John Cena when he first came in was like these flashy like little tights bodybuilder, like he had this like shaved head but like the bleach blonde hair up top, and he was just intense. And then they and so that was early on, and I don't think he was a jobber. A jobber is the guy that comes out and usually is like the one to make. He's going to lose the match. And
right.
His goal is to make this other guy.
Vince Vaughn's character in Fighting with My Family was a jobber.
Right. Yeah.
His whole thing was he was committed to making the marquee entertainer
look good.
Yeah. But that's a critical role. Like you're the straight man, and that's what caused him to get hurt.
Yeah.
Right. Because he jumped with the Undertaker. He got anyway.
And so like him, like he had to over time, because it's also based on like, how much does the crowd actually like draw to you based on maybe, and it's some people will take gimmicks that they're given and they'll be like, wow, this is so stupid. And you can tell that
they're not leaning into it.
And the ones that know, regardless of how cheesy it is, like John Cena's character went from this like pretty boy bodybuilder and tights to like the doctor of thugonomics when he came out in jean shorts and jerseys and would like diss rap whoever it is that he's about to do. And he leaned into it and people bought it hook, line, and sinker and freaking loved it. Then later he transitioned to, he's still wearing the jorts because the jorts is John Cena. Like you don't have John Cena without jorts anymore. But he got away from that rapper like persona, and he was still very similar in the way he like his intensity and the way that he like reacted to the crowd and the way he brought in the crowd. And so I think made that main story, that storyline for years there, the ruthless aggression era of the WWE, he leaned into it so well and people bought into it that when he started going to his hustle, loyalty, respect like persona, that was him, and he was given the freedom to kind of roll with that. And with that he also is the leading, like he holds the record for the most granted Make-A-Wish Foundation wishes, and like that persona is his. And so there's a lot of times where they're like, we want to turn John Cena heel, we want to make him a bad guy, and he's like, no, I put so much into this.
There's a room for a fall from grace, but not a full on bad guy move. But as you said, he's earned just professionally as an entertainer, kind of an actor or somebody who's put in their time, and I'm assuming he's probably professionally has branched into the writing and the directing and the producing side of it, especially now that he's done movies and stuff too. So, but this is kind of there's a pivot point here. This felt very much like a.
Thank you for we need like no, I need this every once in a while.
I mean like you brought the shirt, man. But there's a I used to do this in class a lot of times where like we'd be talking about current events or something, and students would be like, at a very critical inflection point, make the move of like, well, that makes me think of the character in the text, and da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
And afterwards they'd be like, did you know we were gonna be like, no, but there's always a bridge. There's always a door.
Right.
And it's just whether you choose to walk through it or not. The door is, we got a new boss. Yeah. And in a sense, if we're the talent, we're the entertainment, we're the actor out on the stage as an affiliate. HQ is WWE. Yeah. Right. So that's the metaphorical relationship. And so old authority out, old Vince McMahon. Old Vince McMahon out, new Vince McMahon in.
Which is funny because The Authority was totally a storyline with Vince McMahon back in the day. We can go down that rabbit hole too. But yeah.
So Mr. Eric Rosa, Mr. 240 Fran at 50 years old, new goals, folks, new goals for all of us, is in the driver's seat in a couple weeks. Not officially yet. The ink is not on the paper, but it's happening. Like at this point,
there's no
whatever.
going back.
And even like like Nicole Carroll's back in. Thank goodness. Like awesome. Welcome home. Welcome back. So happy. That is. I mean that seriously. I think warms the collective heart of the entire CrossFit community.
Yeah.
That girl, that woman, I learned how to do muscle ups watching her in Nasty Girls. Tired muscle ups. You know what I mean? Like her struggling through those. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So her overhead squat competition where she does 95 pounds and that like big strong sheriff's deputy does 95 pounds and she just decimates him.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that shoulder position. I get it. Okay.
Right.
So, Nicole Carroll, thank goodness, back in the seat of training. The question is, you asked, like, do we want to talk about our new boss? And I said, sure. I don't really know a whole lot about him. Mm-hmm. And so, rather than, like, talk about him as a person or him as, like, his history, I thought it would be kind of cool to just do some healthy conjecturing and prognostication of
2 things I love doing.
What could this look like for us as a business? What are things about being an affiliate that we've enjoyed, that we've not liked? Do we see things that maybe change and improve the things we didn't like? Are there fears around what could be different and take away the things that we liked? You know, and so the first being, okay, it's 2017, August of 2017. You and I have never affiliated before. Mm-hmm. We have no real experience. You know, take away my 5 years experience with Blue and Gold, take away my experience in Hawaii of you know, doing a military affiliate. Like, I have no real interaction and don't know what to expect from CrossFit HQ. I know that I like it. I know that I want to start a gym. We pay our $3,000 affiliation fee.
Here we are.
We get absolutely no guidance. We get no restrictions. We basically get a licensure agreement to use the word CrossFit, capital C, capital F, one word, and call ourselves Level 1 trainers.
Right.
CFL, CFL-1 trainer. Can't call yourself a coach.
Not a coach.
Can't call yourself, because that's a level 3.
That's level 3
certification, though it didn't exist when we started. Now it does.
Right.
So that level of hands-off, absence of direction, what have been the goods and the bads from your perspective? And talk. We can even like extend. So just do personal. We'll do personal first, and then.
Well, from the hands-off standpoint, like we've been able to make this thing what we want it to be without, we can make whatever T-shirt we want. We'll go a simple one. You can make whatever T-shirt you want, and they don't ask for a cut of that. We can charge whatever we want. They don't ask for a cut of that, unless you want to count the $3,000.
No, I mean it's a marketing licensing fee.
It's what it is.
It's how that's how we classify it in our taxes. It's licensing and marketing.
Right, and so we've been able to take this thing and using the CrossFit methodology that we believe in so much, we're able to use that. And other than that, their hands aren't in the pot, and their hands aren't. We're not getting emails from them and direction from them saying this is how you need to do it.
Right.
And so that I really like, because I feel like you and I have a lot to offer in our creativeness and in systems, in our knowledge and how to work with people, how to build this thing. And trying to build this thing, like we had some. I
thought there was a bug on the microphone, but there isn't.
We had an idea of what we wanted it to look like, and we weren't going into this blind, not knowing what to do. But we're still learning a lot now, 3 years later.
Yeah.
And so, and I've liked that as we kind of figure out as we go.
So you guys, we do the same workout as CrossFit Ken Island then. Like everybody does the same.
Negative.
So because Jazzercise gets the the playlist for the month, and everybody does the same playlist
Right.
and the same steps and the
Right.
same moves, and a coach can like add minimal flavor, but like
It
so
has
then,
to.
So then CrossFit Count Island's doing the same workout.
No,
we
they
are,
are
and
not.
we're all doing main sites.
No, we can do our own.
So then, how do you control the quality of the product?
That's a
Right?
good
Then, how do
question.
I know that if I go down, if I come to your CrossFit gym, and I didn't list out all the ones that are now in the, if I go down the street to another CrossFit gym and another CrossFit gym, like how?
According to the website, there's still a lot in the area. Just saying. Just saying, there's still a lot of CrossFit gyms in the area.
It didn't
guys.
actually de-affiliate.
Just saying.
So touchy. Too soon. So
Too soon. We have a new owner in 2 weeks. Time flies, Jack.
yeah. I think it behooves all of us to take a breath and be a little bit more patient. Patience is a virtue, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, how with that level of command by negation, as the Navy calls it,
Okay.
meaning like I command you through the absence of direction. Like I give a mission,
Right.
I give a higher headquarters statement, and I say, like, I want this accomplished.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And I tell you what and when. I don't tell you anything in between. As long as you don't hear from me,
We're good.
march on.
Yeah.
That's the negation, command by
Right.
negation, and it's critical. It's a critical culture component to the way the Navy works, because if you're the CEO of a ship,
Mm-hmm.
the idea being from the age of sail, you leave port.
See ya.
I don't
Yeah.
have an ability to talk to you until you come back to port again. And so I have to trust as a CEO of a ship. That's why commanding officers in the Navy have such high degrees of authority, internal command authority. And with that responsibility comes like a heck of a degree of trust that if you can be separated, or you can be removed from command simply for loss of good faith and judgment. Like, I don't trust you anymore. You maybe didn't do anything really wrong or illegal. I just don't trust you anymore.
Right.
Zoop, you're gone.
Right.
Like that's a critical component to the way culturally the Navy works. And there's goods and there's bads or whatever. But
Right.
I feel like, again, I understand that world.
Yeah.
I feel like that's always been sort of CrossFit's method, is this sort of like direction through negation. As long as you don't hear from us,
Yeah.
keep marching on.
And I feel like it takes and the only way that you would likely hear from them is if you were like openly bad mouthing the brand.
Correct. And that's
Yeah.
right. And that's the
Yeah.
thing. And then on the flip side, the only time you're going to hear from them for like direction is if like new direction is if they want to go a different direction.
Right.
Sort of the revamping of the website in 2019, the start of 19, January 19. The complete decimation of the media team, like all of these moves that just created like huge shifts in focus. And those aren't the first times that happened. I mean, that happened in 10, that happened in 14. Like there were other moves that they made. I mean, they completely decimated CrossFit Hope, which is like a whole initiative of things, but lo and behold, it actually just got revamped and shifted to this initiative that just started with the
Air quotes, guys.
Yeah.
Just started.
the stuff in the free level ones, and it's the pilot program in Atlanta that just got released. All of that said, is that something that you've liked, disliked? Can you see the pros and cons of it?
So for me, I mean, especially more so as of late, overall, I understand you got to take the good with the bad.
Okay.
And so,
I like the way you say that.
So I've liked being able to run an affiliate as we see fit with minimal hands-on, but and I think I speak for both of us as two people that really strive to put out a really like fun, quality, like effective, like we bust our ass to make this thing the best thing that we could possibly be, and we want to do it the way we want to do it, but we put a lot of thought into what the athletes are looking for, because without the athletes we don't have a gym, right? Can we talk about this? But there are a lot, but there are a lot of the gyms just like, whatever, I'm gonna basically I'm going to do this the way I want to do it, and if it sucks, it doesn't matter because it's mine. And I think sucks is objective, right?
Yeah. So I think what I hear and what you're saying is sometimes how we would run our program and create the culture in the community seemed disparate or disconnected from what CrossFit HQ and the larger branding of capital C capital F CrossFit was, to the point where this is a common narrative of like, yeah, I know CrossFit looks like such and such, such and such. That's not the way Fairwinds CrossFit is. They're and so the fact that you have to say that makes it feels difficult or creates that sort of like disingenuity or inauthenticity between like what you are, what you say you are, and then why are you associated with this thing? And again, I think that's a misrepresentation or a misinterpretation of the brand, of the CrossFit brand. But in the end, that's the product or that's the result of an absence of proper messaging from a larger organization. Right. Do you know what I mean? And so like this then comes back, like the absence of a messaging from the mothership allows a vacuum for people to fill it in with perhaps things that are branded by CrossFit Oomp Scoop in, Bumble F America that maybe shows like, come on, and like, oh, that's CrossFit. Look, it says CrossFit in their name. You're like, well, that's not HQ, but HQ is a vacuum of information. Right. Because they're command by negation. And so they're like, well, we don't have a need. That's that's an affiliate. Like, yeah, they can do whatever they want. It's not you. But from the outside, there's no coherent narrative. And the absence of that coherent narrative, and this comes back to your good with the bad, the absence of that coherent narrative allows us to brand ourselves however we want. Exactly. The absence of that narrative creates a gap between everybody branding themselves however they want and this getting branded as this like discontinuous, just like, what? Ununified. Huh? Like, what is that? What are you guys? Like, I don't get it. And that confusion forever has always been frustrating. Yeah. That was why oftentimes I would come back to, we are improve work capacity across broad mode. Wait, what does that mean? Well, you're just going to sweat, have fun, and smile. And we're all about community. It's like, so you just default to these like vapid platitudes that don't really mean anything. Yeah. Because you need a picture. You need an experience. You need a story. You need an anecdote. And it's the welcome to the free market model that CrossFit embraced from the very beginning. Yeah. It's got power, but with that power comes a boatload of like room for missteps and whatever. And with that too, like it's without that sort of necessary uniformity in the brand. Yeah. I still like that it allows us, like, we have, well, let's say a month prior to 2.5 weeks ago, there were 3 CrossFit gyms in this area, and every one of them kind of had their own different flavor. Right. And we've said before, there are 40,000+ people in Annapolis, and so there's a share to go everywhere to be successful. And so if someone came here and was like, this isn't really what I'm looking for, I really like this one up here, like, as a practitioner of CrossFit, I'm excited that you're going to do CrossFit. And vice versa. If someone didn't feel like that CrossFit was for them at this place and they came here and found it here, awesome. And so it's really cool. It's having these 3 different choices in Annapolis, which I think was, and that's just from CrossFit in general. So I like that. Yeah, I agree. And so this is where I think in the limited, even though it is already infinitely more insight and access to the inner workings and intention and expectations of where our new CEO, Mr. Eric Rosa, intends on taking the business, and the leadership and the direction. Though I would say you can go back to like videos from 05, 07. He spoke when Glassman spoke at the Naval War College, or the Army War College. He spoke with Tosh at that one. Like, he offered, this is where we're going. Like, there was never any. You just have. I think it's just people's memories are short, and we want consistent and constant reminding, and re-reminding and retelling in 30-second chunk intervals of like what to be told to do. So I digress. But Glassman always said what it was and where it was going to go.
Yeah.
You just had to filter through the oddities and the big words that he would use. I think Eric Rosa's new framing of it offers a tweak. There is. So I said this. Glassman from the very beginning said, I'm not a business owner.
Right.
I don't want to be a business owner. He never intended on being a manager of affiliates or a training company or a media company. Like he was a coach. He was a trainer of athletes. And he was a thinker and a tinkerer and a scientist.
Yeah.
And then somebody said, hey, I love what you're doing there in Santa Cruz. Can I affiliate? Sure, you're CrossFit East. I love what you're doing there in Santa Cruz. Sure, you're CrossFit North.
Yeah.
You're CrossFit West. That's probably as many. We'll have 4 extra. And we're whatever. The Seattle one was North. The Jacksonville one was East.
Yeah.
There was one in Arizona that was South, and they would be CrossFit West.
Right.
He's like 4 affiliates. We'll probably have 4 affiliates. That's as big as we'll be. 15,000 later.
Yeah.
I think it's shrunk since. But like holy crap,
like
where did this thing go?
Yeah.
Like how? And I think, and that was in less than 20 years, less than 10 years. It grew that fast. So I think you have a guy who found himself not as skillful and intelligent and
tactful,
whatever, right? For the things he does, solely out of like just holy crap, out of his element,
his pay grade,
of running something like that. And that's
not pay grade.
That's really hard to step away from, because you're asking somebody to walk away from something that they still see as them creating it. And when you attack it or say it's messed up or you've made errors, you're, as much as you want to say, well, I'm not attacking you personally, and maybe I am attacking you personally, I don't know, somebody maybe reacts personally, not justifying the behavior, just trying to understand it and whatever. He retired. He quit. Didn't quit. That's it. He's out. Awesome. New guy coming in. Holy crap. Pedigree of somebody who does run multi-million, billion-dollar companies.
Yeah.
Somebody who has worked in organizations that are diverse, equitable, culturally in tune with how to manage and promote and expand the reach in both the mental or in the health space, but also the cultural spaces that is critical in the world we live in today, and if we want to make real lasting change. His narrative fits that. The 3 things I took away that I really enjoyed was the fact that he calls out what and who are the stakeholders.
Right.
The affiliates, the people who go to those affiliates, the people who those affiliates have not yet reached. Those aren't things Glassman did not say.
Right.
He actually said a lot of those same things, just in ways that are really hard to understand.
Yeah.
And sometimes a little aggressive and alienating to people. Rosa said them very clear and very specifically. Then he says, and we're going to put into place practices to support all of those stakeholders. But I liked, he said, but he's like, I don't know what those stakeholders need. I need to listen. And I come with a sense of humility. I come with a sense of ignorance. I come with a sense of not knowing, and I'm willing to listen. And he said, if I have 50 affiliates and 48 of them tell me I need to create this program, give this guidance, but 2 of them say, by doing that, you are going to limit and create an impossible obstacle for us to also do it. He said, well, then that's not a sound program.
Right.
Because if I leave 2 of those affiliates behind, I may be creating a vacuum that is even greater than what the 48 can fill.
Right.
And so he's like, I have to take all of that into consideration, which means options, right? Who's to say, I heard this, that was actually pretty cool. Who's to say that the model, the $3,000 a year affiliation model, never goes away and it always stays the same? And this is the guidance you get. This is what, it's sort of like the insurance. If you want insurance through CrossFit HQ, through CrossFit Inc., it's called the CrossFit Risk Retention Group. That's who we use. That comes with an added cost. It's a little bit more expensive than if we just went out to like some civilian, or not civilian, like military civilian.
Right.
Some just local one here, not in the CrossFit space. We would have to very specifically tell them what it is we do and do not do and what they would cover. And most likely, if we did have some sort of incident, they wouldn't cover it.
They wouldn't cover it.
Even if it, because they would figure out a way, because it's like, we don't understand that. Never mind. We're just paying out and it's going to up your rate and da-da-da-da,
Right.
you guys, whatever. Risk Retention Group is CrossFitters creating insurance for CrossFit affiliates. You're paying a little bit extra, and it's actually, and we bought in to
Right.
it as a, like, we are now shareholders of the CrossFit Risk
Right.
Retention Group. That may be a new model. Maybe there's the $3,000 affiliation fee, but then maybe you want to you get marketing guidance.
Right.
That's an extra $300 a year. You get access to this t-shirt provider, this online, right? Like all of these things, mentorship, monthly mentorship, immersion training, whatever. And if you choose that, you then put yourself in a position to become a level 2 affiliate. Not to say that a level 2 affiliate is better than a level 1 affiliate. It's just a different level of guidance and engagement. Just like right now, you and I never need to get another certification than our level 1.
Right.
If we want to continue to progress, we can go get a level 2. But we can go back and I've taken the level 1 twice now.
Yep.
I could just keep getting my level 1.
Yep.
It's an amazing certification. It's awesome.
Yep.
And I want to do my own training and education on the side. I never have to get another level. I never have to I only have to keep renewing that level 1 every 5 years. But training, CrossFit training, has all of these other things that I could pursue if I wanted to, but I don't have to.
You don't have to.
That to me is what sounded like Mr. Rosa was starting to pitch or
Right.
say that may be a place that we go.
Right.
And as an affiliate, and we can, well, I'm just thinking like in this realm of the conversation, as an affiliate, that seemed both heartening, but also heartening in the sense of like, okay, cool, nothing has to change.
Right.
But also heartening in like, all of the complaints around there's no guidance, there's no quality control, there's no this, there's no that. Well, it may exist.
Right.
That makes sense to me. That's how you. Sorry, go ahead.
And it's from a lot of, I guess, skeptics outside of the world of CrossFit. There's the comment that it's like, well, all you have to do is take this one weekend seminar and you can run a gym. That's why people get injured doing CrossFit, and it's a mess. And so now it's like
It's what's called in the nutrition world a vampire myth. It's like fat is bad for you.
Right.
That it's a myth that just won't die.
Right.
That it's not true. Like
Right.
the injury rates that are actually associated with CrossFit are a fraction, about a 0.1% for recreational runners.
Right. Right.
So it's
Yeah.
and it's that propagation of that myth that continues to create. It's to get too charged. It's just like racial myths. Right? There is no X race behavior. There is no like certain behavior. It's just like saying, well, it's genetic that you are fill in the blank.
Right.
When it comes to race or like educate, like you just can't learn or you just can't do. They're all just they're myths that just won't die because they facilitate somebody maintaining a perception of power and control over something else.
Right.
And so my fear around exploring something new, it's much easier for me to say, oh, no, I'm just not going to do that because CrossFit is dangerous and people
Right.
get hurt.
Right.
It's not true. Like the numbers just do not support that at all. Like not even close. And the one set of study that was done was shown they're paying millions of dollars in restitution fees for straight up lying
on that,
in a peer-reviewed, quote again, peer-reviewed paper for the sole purpose of defacing and demeaning an organization or a company for financial gain by another company.
Yeah.
So like that whole idea, and I think it's paramount of practitioners of it to continue to make that clear that was a straight up lie that is not true.
Yeah.
In any way, shape, or form.
No.
Anyway,
so anyway, yeah, like now it's, you can keep getting your level 1, but now that there's this potential to, like you said, that quality control, whereas maybe you do get your level 1 and open up a gym, but then there's going to be these other things to make sure that you are still maintaining some form of standard and, you know, in the quality of you as a coach, as you as an affiliate owner, as you as a human being in the CrossFit realm. Anyway, that was, yes.
Yeah. So, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
You go.
No, I like it. I like the idea. It's like we said before. It's going to be harder. It might be harder in that we have these certain things that we have to. It's more work. It isn't, because we already kind of do it anyway. Like us as a gym have been.
But I would say like what makes it hard. That would be like somebody is like, well, they're just gonna. I don't see. I'm having trouble to like, because it's too soon. Like nothing.
Right.
I think what would be better to look at is, all right, so one of the things that's been kind of nice about CrossFit is like there's really no need for them. As a person, I often I don't really expect a lot out of people. Mm-hmm. Like I think actually it was funny when Dave Castro on his most recent podcast with Talking with Friends.
Yeah.
Or
Fitness with Friends.
Fitness, yeah, exactly. Whatever.
I
can never remember what they have like 3 different titles of different episodes for them. Come on, boys, get it together. Just come up with one. He kind of said like, and I think that is the nature of coming from a professional community in your formative years, where you're sort of conditioned to talk is cheap. I'll see you on the back end of this. And if you're still here, then I'll trust you.
Right.
Right? Like the idea of like, oh, no, I'll be there. It's like, awesome. Ship's leaving. Boat's rolling. You know what I mean? Like, we're out of here. If you're here 12 hours from now, then
we'll talk.
And we'll say like, okay, cool. And so sort of that, and you do that enough times in enough environments, it's kind of a, put your money where your mouth is. Like, just show up. Don't just tell me you're going to show up or tell me this is what you're going to do and then not do it.
Right.
That's actually the norm. Like, and unfortunately, you do that enough times, you realize most people get very excited, say, oh, we're going to do yeah. And so when push comes to shove, like it creates, and it's not healthy in the long term of like, human relationships and stuff. You just don't trust most people. Mm-hmm. And you just sort of are like, okay, like I don't really expect much, and therefore you're not really disappointed when people don't deliver.
Yeah.
There you go, little therapy, session. So from CrossFit, like you weren't surprised when there was a vacuum of information. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like they established like you just never expected much from them. Yeah. And when people would be like, they should do this, and they should be like, why? Why are you expecting that from them? They've never done it. Like they never will do it. Like that's so. Here comes Eric Rosa and his shaved head and his beautiful master's athlete physique, and you're like, oh wow, cool, and he's exciting and it's so cool, and it's like, we're gonna do this and we're gonna have this new newsletter and we're gonna do this, and you're like, in my heart, like when I'm like,
cool.
Okay,
right.
Talk to me in 2 years. Like, when we're coming up at the end of our lease here, and we got to figure out, like, do we keep going? And if they've delivered on these promises, then cool. Like, I'm like, all right. But I also am not. This is again like I'm not putting a whole lot of stock in these like sweeping changes. Mm-hmm. But what that facilitates is I also am not like wholeheartedly just crushed emotionally
Right.
when an organization disappoints me.
Right.
You know, it's like
Yeah.
most organizations are going to disappoint you. And I come back to what you said, because you take the good with the bad, right? Like I could only focus on the bad. Then all you see is bad. Or I can focus on the good, right? Like there's a lot of good stuff. And that, you know, the fact that it's a pilot program, the fact that that's happening in Atlanta, the fact that that's a pilot program, it's not a pilot program. They've already run that program numerous times. They just didn't tell anybody about it.
Right.
So it's like, okay, cool. Well, then what that tells me is maybe, and this is where I took a long time to get here, the initiative to be more transparent and openly communicate, this is where we are, this is where we hope to get to, this is how we intend on getting there, has already started. I need to set it on auto forward to you, but we get now a weekly email from affiliate support to affiliates with updates on what's happening.
Oh, cool.
And why I say it is because then you could take that and put it into your newsletter.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, hierarchical chain of command,
Right.
that's going from CrossFit affiliate support to its affiliates. And if I'm somebody in a hierarchical organization, my expectation is then those people, I'm doing like a wiring diagram,
Right.
they are the ones who spread it out. And if you don't, then that's a weak link that maybe it's like, hey, affiliate, we've been pushing this stuff out to you. What's going on? Are you sure you'll make up? Road goes both ways. As an affiliate, we kind of were hoping and expecting you to be this way. You sure you want to be an affiliate?
Right.
Like, if not, it's okay. Like, you can walk away.
Totally fine.
We're not going to tell you not, like, you're not doing anything illegal, and you're still representing the brand. We would just think you could represent the brand a lot better.
Yeah.
And here's some resources that we'd like to offer you, right? Like that I see as if in 2 to 3 years, now the culture of HQ and its relationship with its affiliates is win-win.
Yeah.
Not for us to be one way, you need to be one way. And for you to be one way, we need to be one way.
Which is what I don't want. Like
Right. So you just watch it. But what I would say is that what gives me hope is it's all very just, they deliver. It's open transparency and here, do with it what you will. Yeah. Here, do with it what you will. It's never a you owe us.
Right.
Now, bop, 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 bop.
Right.
But that's, I think, maybe also why I didn't feel this like overwhelming need, me personally, us collectively, to run from the brand when things kind of started to feel like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Because life's always murky.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so like now it's just sort of like, all right, cool. And again, actions and the intentions are awesome, but what's actually delivered on the back end?
Right.
Somebody like Nicole Carroll, somebody, the fact that though 1,300 affiliates claimed or said they were going to de-affiliate, I think that was a good move by those affiliates. They created a power to say like, hey, we are unhappy. And unfortunately, CrossFit had created an environment where they weren't open, or it was perceived that they weren't open to listening unless the market deemed something necessary. And so it took the collective power of affiliates to threaten to leave for that to happen. I think Dave made a very good point, though. That is bullying in a form. We should be careful not to
There's an expectation that could be...
Right. It's a slippery slope. I'm not saying that that's not a viable move. It is a silver bullet move. Mm-hmm. You don't get a lot of those to spend. Yeah. Because at some point, it's kind of like hitting your kid. Right? Like if my kid's about to run out into traffic and the only thing I have I don't have time to yell and say stop because they can't hear me, and all I have available to me is a physical like block. Yeah. That is aggressive and violent, but it saves the kid's life. And maybe I catch him in the face, maybe it hurts, whatever. It's like shit. and it's got to be followed up with like, or like they're about to touch something and I got to hit,
Smack
right? Like
away. Yeah.
you don't get to have a lot of those available to you over time, because if that's your only move, at some point it just stops. Punishment stops becoming effective in behavioral changing and behavioral relationship development.
Yeah.
And in a sense, the affiliates who threatened to leave punished HQ for its behavior. It worked. Effective. Sure. You got the change. We got the change that probably was necessary. This sort of devolved into a different conversation, but that change sounds to me like it's going to show up in transparency, engagement, different forms of leadership, different opportunities for the affiliates to benefit, but also be of benefit to the larger HQ initiatives.
Right.
Those to me sound all awesome, and the only reason we know that that is where the intention and eyes of the mothership are pointed is because the guy in charge said it.
Yeah.
That was new, and that was heartening and pretty cool.
Yeah.
My gut tells me, or not gut tells me, my gut tells me to trust him. He's got a track record of doing this and doing it successfully.
Right.
The little cynic on my shoulder over here is like, yeah, you've heard this before.
Sounds really good.
Yeah, it's all good. Let's see what happens in 6 months.
Yeah.
Don't go trusting too much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so like,
because there's a, because there's a, I don't know. When HQ reformatted, when .com reformatted, or whatever you want to call it, was that 2000?
It's 2019, January 1st, 2019. We all woke up and went, what the
website?
hell is this?
And what are all these strict pull-ups doing in here? And what's this article?
Man, that was horrible.
And
we had been following .com programming for the last 9 months at that point, and it was awesome, and it was fun. And then those last 3 months were like,
strict city again?
What the hell? Now, granted, we all did awesome when a lot of strict stuff came out, but
But and
it's
so
the journey.
And so I don't know, like if Glassman had come out and said a month leading up, like, hey, look for a change here. Like, personally, I don't know if I would have cared that much. I think I would have appreciated it, but it's like, it's gonna change anyway.
Right, and it would have felt out of character for him.
Right.
That it would have been like, wait, why? What's happening? Who died? You know what I mean? Like,
and so if anything, at least to like us as affiliate owners, it's so when the members are asking like, hey, what's going on? Do we look silly because we don't know, like, as the affiliate owner?
Oh, I see.
So when we see that change, and like Bob and Monique come up to us like, hey, we saw like the website change, and like now there's this article about this like case study, the blah 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 blah.
What I would
like,
say is different is that we talked about it. Do you know what I mean? So that's the difference and why I think that's the disconnect or the disparity between like what happens at the affiliate level. If we're going to raise prices, if we're going to change a program, if we're going to change a freaking class time by 3 minutes, we tell people because we want a ramp, right? We don't want it to be this like, that's dangerous. And it's a violation of the trust that we've established with our people. That's the disparity between the relationship between HQ and the affiliates. There's no trust. And the thing is, though, there was never an establishment of that trust.
Right, that's what he said. There's like as a
there was no expectation
as a CO on the ship. Like, you're given this trust to like go. I don't think they're really ever like. Yeah, you can become an affiliate and use our name.
Yeah,
go get your L1.
Yeah,
pay the fee, and go as you please. There's never
expect nothing from us. We expect nothing from you.
Yeah, so there's no.
You paid me the $3,000. It was transactional. It was
and
solely
I feel like there wasn't trust from that level to us, but we put some form of trust in them.
I think that is on us. It's the same thing with the Open. It's the same thing with the programming at the games. It's the same thing. At no point was it ever explicitly said by those in charge,
trust us,
that they were in charge, or trust, because if I say trust us, what that means is then I have a responsibility to earn that trust a little bit, and to offer you some insight. That's transformational leadership, is that it is collaborative, with the understanding that at some point, if I am in charge, I will make the decision that I deem best for the sake of being most right and in tune with where we've determined our direction is, not what you want.
Right.
What you want is not always what needs to happen.
Yeah.
That's the nature of hierarchical relationships.
This is the popular decision isn't always the right decision.
But
And
that was never explicitly stated as the relationship.
Yeah.
And it felt often like HQ would be changing the rules. But the thing is, there were no rules. They were allowed to do whatever they wanted.
Yeah.
That feels like it's changing for a positive benefit, win-win. HQ will develop a different relationship with itself as a global corporation, with its affiliates, with its people who come to those affiliates, and with people that they haven't yet reached, aka stakeholders that Rosa identified. And it's like, oh, and now if I identify stakeholders and I identify how those stakeholders can define what is a beneficial relationship for them, now I have clear objectives that I can meet. I have observable, measurable, and repeatable things that I can do.
I've heard this.
That I can be held accountable for, or to, and that I can hold you accountable for. And that's a relationship. That's a healthy, boundary-driven, measurable relationship that a business owes its clients, it owes itself, it owes its stakeholders. That's called a CEO.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I mean, Glassman actually said one time, I don't think CrossFit needs a CEO. Yeah. We're going to run this ship without one for a while.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess. I don't know.
Sure.
I'm just going to hang out down here in my tiny little hamlet of Annapolis and just try to hold on.
Yeah.
That's the difference. And it's heartening just, philosophically, just thinking of the way things should run and how, we imagine things being structurally sound, and it makes us feel comfortable. But then it's also it just is heartening because it's fun again.
Yeah.
And it's exciting.
Yeah.
And I, as much as I maybe sounded like a pessimist, which I think at heart I kind of am, but only because that's a safe place to be.
Right.
I'm also an idealist that I want to trust this guy and where direction is going. And Audrey said it a couple weeks ago when I asked her for help on some stuff. She said that's what makes us Americans, is that we're just how did she phrase it? I told you, is that in the face of seeing insurmountable challenges and inequalities and just atrocities, we have a hope and a faith that we can make things better. That's what makes us Americans, is that we constantly believe we can make it better. Yeah. And it's I can almost see the flag waving behind her and the song, song playing. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm getting on board behind her and yes, that's it, And so it was awesome. It was, we have a faith that we can make it better. And that's what this guy ushered in. Mm-hmm. And so I temper that with then, okay, patience, wait, listen, see where you can be of action, how you can help, what can I actually do? Well, I think our job is to continue to do this as well as we can do it, to follow through on the things that we've said we're going to do. Look to guidance if there's this program that they run in Atlanta and it's ooh, we could model that.
Yeah.
I can't do it on that scale because I'm not a multi-million-dollar corporation.
Right.
But I could do it for one person. I could do it for 10 people, maybe, And so those things of I can program functional fitness. I can do joint couplets and triplets and blah, blah, blah. Hey, I took that model, scaled it down to what we can manage, and we're having an impact on the 100 people, 50, 100 people who we interact with.
Right.
Maybe I can do that with this program. Maybe I can do that with that program. And the transparency of this is what we're doing. This is how we're going to get there. This is how we know we'll have done it when we're successful.
Right.
Nice. Now I have a model to follow, kind of like Glassman wrote what your affiliate should be. Way, way back when. Kind of cool. So it feels so I heard a renaissance of, it was Bergeron actually. I went back and I listened to his Chasing Excellence podcast.
Which one?
The one about, I think it's the most recent one. It's good. It's.
Did you like my Ben Bergeron or Jack Ryan quote?
Yeah. None of us get credit for that.
No,
I have no idea where
that's
that came from, but it's not either of us. And I have no business. I'm not on par. Like that guy, as a professional, he's a transformative leader. I mean, he's got a big affiliate. He's got multiple businesses. Like he impacts a lot of people's lives, and he actually explained why they left as an affiliation. I'm not done with the episode yet, and I don't think he's fully given an answer, but I mean, it wasn't a knee-jerk reaction, and that's why I say, like, I respect those individuals who walked away, those affiliates who de-affiliated, and right, their collective voice of taking action as they deemed necessary to take action has ushered in where we are now. They don't do that. I'm pretty sure we're not having this conversation. So in a sense, you have to respect that decision and be thankful. I'm grateful that they've done that. The question I have, or the challenge I have, is like, okay, well, what do you do now?
Yeah.
Like did you think that through?
Right.
Was that the only option for you? Because now it's sort of that's the horse you jumped on.
Where are you going?
How are you going to ride? Where are you riding that horse?
Yeah.
And good luck. Like, I didn't see that as the option that would have been the best option for us or for the CrossFit community. And in reality, none of us can actually know, and we can't prognosticate or conjecture if this would not have happened, regardless. Do you know what I mean? Like, maybe it does. Maybe it's still, and it's just 6 months from now, not right now. Maybe if it happens 6 months from now, it's still Rosa, but it's Rosa coming in with more developed, clearly defined programs for change. He's walking into a raging dumpster fire. Maybe he walks into just sort of a smoldering, like, ooh, okay, I don't have to whole fire burn shit down. Like, I can just fix this, and that. You know what I mean? Like, so like, as revolutionary and as awesome as it has been, maybe it's not a crisis we needed to create like we created it. But maybe we did need to create the crisis. That's the only way you get change. Yeah. I don't know.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't
it's
matter.
Where we are now.
Exactly. And so it's one of those, again, leadership told us, let it go. We are where we are now. Open your heart and your arms to everybody. If you want to say you're inclusive, the power is not in me saying somebody has to act a certain way. The power is in me saying, I'm going to act this way. That's all I have for you.
Yeah.
Like that, you take it and do with it what you will. If that's with me, awesome. If it's not, awesome. We're all telling we're about healthy movement and improve lives. That's it. I like it. So I'm excited. Bottom line, there you go. That's us talking about the changes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It seems like there's this like glimmer of hope in this thing that, if anything, things seem like they were kind of going one direction, and now they're kind of headed back in the direction that we'd like to see them go. And so if anything, that's refreshing. Like, I'm with you. I'm not necessarily like, what's coming next? Like, I can't wait to see what's going. I'm just glad that, like, it seems like we're back in the direction of how is CrossFit going to be this life-changing, beneficial.
It's funny. I'm just glad that Nicole Carroll is back in charge, or on that, director of training, or whatever role. They haven't clearly said, and even Castro said, like, I don't want to be pigeonholed into I'm just this one thing.
I'm just the games guy.
Right. Like, I kind of like that, that there's room now, even internally, for them to all redefine what they do. And I'm glad that Nicole Carroll as a presence is in that, because I almost was like, well, I guess I'm not going to pursue getting my level 3 then.
Right.
And that's the next, for me personally, professionally, like that's my next move, is to do it before the end of this year and hopefully pass it. But that, I was holding off. I was actually going to schedule it, and then with all quarantine stuff, I have no idea like where they're holding it, if you can even go take it and whatever. Right. But I was holding off on it because I was like, if this CrossFit thing Twilight's, like, why am I going to bother getting more certifications within this organization? But now that she's back on board, I'm in. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, when she...
and I say all that not to say, like, if she hadn't, it was more of I was just waiting to see. The fact that as an individual, through other varied, 1 and 2 degree separations, like I just trust what they've created and her as the person explaining when they created this whole this whole system.
Right.
She couldn't have explained it the way she explained it if she had not been intimately integral in helping create it.
Right.
Or being the person who created it.
When all these affiliates were threatening to jump off board, I'm like, okay, like, and you saw some of the big players, but also in the back of my mind, it's like, someone like a CFNE, like, I mean, they'll be fine is my assumption, right? Like, you saw the big players, and in my mind, it's like, okay, these gyms are jumping off, and whether it's a knee-jerk reaction or whether maybe it's something you've been thinking about for a while, and now this is just like, you know what, now it's time to make that move. Cool. When Nicole Carroll left, that's when I was like,
what else is going on?
Okay.
Yeah, something
like,
else.
This is like, if she's leaving, because I mean, I would say she was more second, like she was the right-hand person to Glassman, maybe more so than Castro, I feel.
Right, like I would have expected her to be named as the next CEO.
Right.
Then again,
that's what I was kind of like.
But again, we don't know.
We don't know. We're so outside of that loop.
And that is problematic if you're like I don't know, random member at CrossFit Fairwinds. To them, we look like the administration. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, oh, well, you guys know, like, right? Don't you get, like, aren't you in on, maybe not like the day-to-day, like, bottom line budget stuff, but like as far as the nature of the inner
Didn't
workings.
Greg send you his tweet and say, doesn't this sound funny?
Right,
I'm going to post it.
But you'd imagine, right? Because in any sort of hierarchy organization, there's transparency and like kind of who's where and how that path and trajectory works and stuff. It was a black box. You had I didn't even know that most of it happened in Arizona and not Santa Cruz. I thought it all happened to that building where Dan Bailey does his workouts and runs around and there's people in the gym.
Right.
Like,
well, I just I'm going to jump into my gratitude already.
We're already there.
Are we there?
Yeah.
Cool. And like,
plus we gotta get you out of here.
So seeing, I personally don't feel like the company needed to be sold to go in the direction it needs to go. I think Castro is smart, and I think he's very blunt, and he can be very unfiltered, and he's going to do, like I said, he's going to do what's right, not necessarily what's popular.
Right.
And I think he has a little bit more tactful way of doing that than Glassman does.
Yeah.
But and so when people are saying, Castro being main CBO isn't enough, whatever that means.
He's a puppet.
He's a puppet, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, I don't think Dave Castro is anyone's puppet. So the company sold. Rosa comes in. It's a fresh face. He's saying a lot of the right things. And what that turns into is great. And I was kind of like, okay, cool. Like, for the getting that monkey, what I feel like was on my back is to not questioning whether or not we should still be an affiliate, but like, what needs to happen for people to kind of regain their faith? So seeing Rosa, Nicole Carroll, my gratitude is I'm so glad she's back, because when I saw that, I was like, if Nicole Carroll is coming back after she, I don't want to say bolted, but she resigned, and it's like that had to be a tough decision to make, to be coming back, I think. And I mean, I feel like she like deleted everything on her Instagram account.
Yeah, a couple months
everything,
ago,
and so
weeks ago.
And I can imagine what she was going through
personally
and emotionally. Like, she has been
her identity.
Yeah. And so the fact she feels confident enough to come back because she believes in this thing, then I believe even more, because I believe in Nicole Carroll.
Well said.
And so
that
was like, when I saw that yesterday, I was like, awesome. Nicole Carroll.
Yeah. Mine's Devon Brown. If you guys were a part of the now newly named Fairwinds CrossFit Community Athenaeums, will be due every quarter, and we're in the process of determining what next quarter's is going to be. But Devon, just being a part of it, jumping right in, like he's been a part of our community for the last 10 years.
Yeah,
guys. I mean, seriously, a talent. I mean, he is. It is humbling how comfortable and open and vulnerable and courageous. I mean, he's the epitome of our values and principles. And I feel so grateful and lucky to have trusted our instincts and just reached out to him. And then really it was him though, because we made the donation. He reached out to us.
He reached out to us.
Yeah, like that was, and it was incredible.
Yeah.
10 minutes after we're done on Friday, I'm cleaning up, I'm getting ready to trying to post it up, and my phone rings, and it's him. And there's a couple of people that I've sort of set, you, my parents, Nicole, and I kind of put him into that list of like, because he told me early on, like, he'll text and stuff, and he doesn't get the emails all that often, like he does eventually, and he cleans, but like, he's a talk, like he wants to talk on the phone, and that's how he feels comfortable, and so like, I was like, all right, cool, if the phone rings and it's you, short of me, like, doing something and I can't answer it, I'll answer it. I'm not like my phone rings, I don't generally pick it up.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. Well, that when you call me, I forget what I was doing. Yeah.
It was like a Saturday afternoon. I assumed you were doing something.
But 9 times out of 10, like you're in that list of like, if the phone rings, I pick it up.
Yeah.
Because we don't call each other most times.
Yeah.
And so if you're calling, it's like, oh shit.
Yeah. If you're not saying this in the text, what's up?
Right.
Yeah.
For him, he clearly said that's the. So I picked it up. I'm like, hey man, because it's 9:20, 9:15 at this point. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I got to go to bed. Like I'm.
Yeah.
I pick it up. We talked for about a half hour because he was fired up. What's next? Our next thing, community event. What are we doing?
Cool.
How do we want to do it? And in 30 minutes, we charted out and scaffolded what that thing looks like.
Nice.
I haven't talked to you about it yet because we're still kind of working on it. Whatever, it's no big deal. It's nothing new. But some of
Thank you for being transparent, letting me know that it's on the horizon.
Some of his ideas are things I would have thought of, but not in the way that he thought about them. And that's his willingness to just openly work through stuff is refreshing, but it's also very, like, I feel very akin and in tune with the way he works.
Yeah.
He's extremely deliberate, extremely diligent, but he trusts his gut.
Yeah.
And when it's something like we move, he moves.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I like this.
Yeah.
I can get on board. Like, I'm in. And so like that it just at every turn it keeps being validated. It feels very similar to when we said, we'll start a gym.
We'll start a gym.
And in 6 weeks, we were affiliated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And in 3 months, we're here.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I guess we're moving.
Yeah.
And like that it's very reminiscent of the way when I make moves in my life and they come through successful.
Yeah.
This seems to be the pattern, and I'm really grateful that this has come into our lives.
Cool.
So yeah, that's mine.
That was fun.
Yeah, man. All right, cool. So just another podcast of talking about something that'll probably be outdated in about 24 hours.
Right.
So by the time we release this, we'll probably have a new CEO and CrossFit will be renamed. And
Hulk Hogan will be on trial for something else. Who knows?
So, all right, folks. This is fun.
So,
good stuff. Have a great 4th of July.
Hey.
Independence Day. Yay, white aristocratic. What's this line from Dazed and Confused? As they're all running out. And enjoy your bicentennial, a celebration of. I can't remember the line. I won't say it, but it's hilarious. The young history teacher, like throwing a different version of history out via anyway, a more accurate version of history. White aristocratic landowners who didn't want to pay their taxes. Yay! Criminals. Go America. What are you going to say?
Well, you you had a fact about zombies that you wanted to share.
Well, no, it's interesting. All those dyslexic zombies that are out there. I mean, they've been eating all the Bryans, so be careful, Brian. Meyer, Lounsbury, all of our other Bryans.
Bryant, you're safe.
Yeah, you're safe, but be careful. There could be who knows, somebody had a grammar misspelling issue. Which, disclaimer, that's not the way dyslexia works. I know that, Nicole, even though you're not listening and you didn't make it this far. It's just a joke about zombies. It's not a joke about dyslexia.
If zombies want to come talk about it.
Yeah.
We'll
I mean,
do
it could be a
that.
joke about vegan zombies, right?
Right.
'Cause
they only eat grains.
Alrighty, folks.
All
We'll
right.
see ya on the creek.